Hello, everyone. This is L1 with 857 back in another episode of Flowers Summer. Ooh, day 3 of Heat Wave. Ooh, I'm feeling the tiredness. This episode's late, probably because there were storms and I was probably tired out, so mix of two. After asking the other council member witnesses for their stories, we've confirmed that their versions of events don't differ much from the vice president's. Seeing that we've done all we can for the day, I tell Sister Basquate that I'm heading back to my room. However,
フックマンを見たくはないのですか?
don't you want to see the Hookman? I never thought I'd hear something like that from a woman of the cloth. Despite my surprise, I of course jump at this chance to follow up on a mysterious rumor after school hours. We had some time to kill before nightfall, which is when Yatsuhiro Senpai and the other council members said that the figure appeared. I find myself held up in Sister Basquet's arms as when she's assisting me with bathing. We're looking up at a painting on the landing, and I'm feeling horribly flustered. She also looks it.
これは
Hi. I can't bring myself to admit how embarrassing I'm finding all of this.
どうですか? この絵画は我が学院の誇る聖遺物なのですよ。
What do you think? This painting is one of the Academy's most prized works of art. It's such a bizarre situation. I'm being held in a bridal carry and asked to appreciate the painting that Shirahane and the others conducted the Bloody Mary ritual in front of.
私が時間つぶしに他の七不思議探索でもどうですかって言ったのが悪かったんだけどさ。
I guess it's my fault for suggesting we kill time by investigating the other 7 mysteries. I had expected that we come here first. Plus,
下から見て終了だと思ったんだけどな。
looking at it from down below, I always assumed it was the end.
どうです? 心が洗われるようでしょ?
Doesn't it feel like your soul is being cleansed? To be honest, it's having quite the opposite effect. As I watch Sister Basquet gaze raptly at the painting, I'm a ball of anxiety. I don't smell sweaty from moving around so much in this heat, do I? Since almost school closing time, the place is deserted. We won't be seen by anyone, will we? She's lifting me so easily, but what if I'm really heavy?
重いようだったらそろそろ。
If I get too heavy, you can just put me down.
気を使わなくても大丈夫よ。八重垣さんは羽のように軽いわ。
Huh? Oh, there's no need for you to worry. You're as light as a feather.
そうですか。どうも。
I am? Thanks.
痩せていて心配になるくらいだわ。もっとたくさん食べた方が良いと思うわよ。
Yes, in fact, I worry that you're too thin. You really should eat more. Tell that to my roommate. The strange note coming from Sister Basquet, that doesn't sound like an insult. Also raises how, while this should simply be embarrassing, the longer she holds me, the calmer I feel. It's like...
でもなぜ徳の高い聖遺物が七不思議の一つと数えられているのでしょうね。不思議だわ。
Why on earth would a holy object like this be related to one of the 7 mysteries? It's so odd.
本来奇跡を与えるものですからね。リトルバスタードみたいなものとは違う。
Yes, it's the kind of thing that should be bestowing miracles. Nothing like the little bastard or whatever. The Basquet blinks at me and asks what that is. I go on, painfully aware of the press of her large chest against my shoulder.
ジェームス・ディーンが生前乗っていた車です。今では呪いの品と言われていますが。
It was James Dean's car. People say it was cursed.
呪いの?
Cursed?
死後高値で取引されたそうですが、リトルバスタードを手にしたオーナーは次々と不審な死を迎えたんです。
After his death, it was sold for a great deal of money, but all of its subsequent owners have met with suspicious deaths one after another.
今や本物のリトルバスタードはどこにあるのかもわからないそうですが。
Although no one knows where the thing is now. I gaze up at the Virgin Mary. Perhaps because all this talk of curses, it looks somewhat ominous to me.
怖い絵だと思っているのね。
You think it's a scary picture, don't you? Though honestly, I agree. I'm hesitant to admit it.
世の中は美しい。それを見る目を持っていれば。
There's great beauty on this world if you just had the eyes to see it. The murmured words are familiar to me.
聖メリーの鐘ですね。古い映画だ。
That's a line from an old movie, isn't it? The Bells of St. Mary's?
名前に惹かれて一度見たことがあるの。良い映画だったわ。
That's how it caught my eye and I watched it once. It was a good movie. I understand what she's really getting at without her having to say it out loud.
見る目を持っていれば。
If you had the eyes to see it, huh? If you look at an image without attracting any unnecessary emotions to it, even something that instills fear can become a sincere object of attachment. Enveloped by Sister Basquet's warm chest, I gaze upon the painting with an open heart. After school closing hours, we arrive at the clubhouse and proceed toward the corridor in question. Concealing ourselves, we gaze out at the corridor and the rest of the building. At first, we chat about all sorts of different things, but then as the sun sets and darkness descends, our conversation dies out. The lights begin switching on around the grounds.
随分とムードたっぷりじゃないかよ。はい。
Hey, isn't the atmosphere being laid on a little thick here? I thought the Academy's electric lights were all a standard white, but for some reason, lights illuminating the clubhouse entrance are different, emitting a reddish glow reminiscent of, well, blood. The instant the best way seems to have been taken in by the creepy atmosphere. She makes no move to talk. I tear my gaze away from the corridor and look towards Sister Basquet, who's crouched beside me, then break the silence to ease my nerves.
八代先輩の話や二階屋の会のメンバーの話ではこんなに雰囲気があるとは言ってませんでしたね。
Neither Yatsuhiro Senpai nor the other council members mentioned anything about it being so atmospheric out here, did they? Sister Basquet nods her agreement.
クラブハウスへはよく出入りしていましたが、こんな風になっているとは思ってませんでしたよ。
I've been in and out of the clubhouse plenty of times. You know, there's stairs right there, I can't really get up. But I never thought it looked this different at night.
下校時刻を過ぎたら普通寮に戻っているものね。クラブハウスの玄関口がこうなっていることを知ってる人は少ないわ。
Everyone's usually back in the dorms after closing hours. There can't be many people who will have seen it like this. I point to the red lights and ask her why they use that kind here.
まさか泥棒よけですか？
It's not to deter burglars, is it? It had been a light-hearted comment, but Sister Basquet's overly serious expression has me thinking I might actually have been right. She takes me by the hand and says,
これはね、虫よけなの。
These are insect repellents.
は？虫よけって暗喩としての虫よけでなく本当の意味での？
Huh? That's not a metaphor, right? They're actually to ward off insects?
ええ、そうよ。この学院は森の中に建てられているでしょ。だから白熱灯だと虫がたくさん寄ってくるの。
Yes. The academy is located in the middle of a forest. If we use white lights, it would attract a lot of insects. I see, that makes sense. Shahai would probably scream if she heard this conversation.
防犯のため各所に電灯をつけたままにしているけれど、このクラブハウスの玄関口だけ。ほら。
The electric lights are left on all night in various places for security purposes, but at the entrance to the clubhouse, look. She indicates the shutters, which are latticed like an old elevator door.
扉が昔のままだから隙間から虫が入ってきてしまうの。だから赤色の電灯をつけているの。
The shutters here are still the old-fashioned kind, so insects can easily get in through the gaps. That's why we use red lights here. Her explanation helps me recall something I read ages ago and nod my understanding.
そういえば、黄色や赤色にすると、人間の目には同じ明度でも、虫からすると見づらいって読んだことがあるな。
Now that you mention it, I've read that red and yellow lights are fine for the human eye in terms of brightness, but that they're hard for insects to see. I also solved the mystery of a phone box I once saw standing dissolutely in the middle of a rice field, illuminated by a creepy red glow. The fact that the lights no longer seem so ominous to me is all well and good, but...
やっぱり噂は噂ってやつか。
I guess this was a case of rumors sparking rumors. It's way past the twilight hour when the apparition is supposed to appear. Yatsuhiro Senpai might be partial to pranks, but it is unlikely that the entirety of the Council Nicaea is lying. However...
クレタ人のパラドックスを思い出すな。
Reminds me of the Epimendes paradox. A Cretan says that all Cretans are liars. Is it the truth or is it a lie? The answer is that there is no answer. As I'm smiling to myself over this most philosophical solution,
人影が見えたわ。
I see someone. Sister Basquate whispers to me. Without a word, I start to move my wheelchair. The creak of the wheels echoes in the dark like the screech of a bat as Sister Basquate pushes me into the clubhouse. I don't see anything yet myself, but we follow after the shape Sister Basquate had seen and arrive at the door to the art room. A faint sound is emanating from within. We exchange a look before flinging open the door. Deep in the dimness of the room, there stands an apparition wrapped in a cloak, with a dark gray hook in its hand. The very thing they'd insisted was real, but I hadn't believed was possible, is standing right there in front of me. The moment Sister Basquate removes her hands from my wheelchair, the figure's cape twists in a swirl of black and green, and then the Green Hookman is gone. When asked whether I really saw the Hookman, I automatically nod before I can stop myself. My reaction is immediately greeted by a chorus of shrieks.
どんな姿だったかって？それはね。
Yes, what's that? What did it look like? Well, you see...
あいつら。
Those two... I guess it was a mistake to tell the Sasakis after all. The Green Hookman had been the talk of the table yesterday, lunchtime. My classmates have been so nervous at the suggestion that it could be some kind of earthly intruder rather than a supernatural entity.
緑色の服が黒にも見え、緑色にも見え。
Its green cloak sometimes looks black and sometimes green. But the way they're telling the tale like they saw it with their own eyes had dispelled those uncomfortable notions. And it's now taken for granted that we are dealing with something more otherworldly.
確かに勇気じみていやがったわ。
I mean, it did have a touch of the ghostly to it. Although the legend tells of a green figure, the Hookman we'd seen yesterday did, like Sasaki is saying, appear to be clothed in shades of both black and green. Even having seen it in person, I found myself thinking of it more as a ghost or spirit than an intruder. However,
朝礼を始めます。
let's begin morning prayers. The Cheddar saw as the Sister Basquet entered the room. I guess it's not the sort of topic to discuss in front of a nun. Who saw the same thing I did.
廊下にまで聞こえていましたよ。
I could hear you from out in the corridor. The warning isn't directed at anyone in particular. The Sasaki sisters shrink back like turtles retreating into their shells.
噂を流すようなことをしてはいけません。良いですね。
You really ought not to be spreading rumors, understand? She's certainly living up to her pious reputation. Even the Sasakis nod meekly without putting up any protest. However, we'll find out more next episode. I hope you had fun, and I'll see you on the next one. See you then.